breathtaking landscapes, abundant wildflowers, sensational sunsets, fascinating wildlife, and historic mines, structures, and artifacts. These are some of the sights I saw during my spring trip to the Mojave Desert. I first stopped in Mule Canyon, where ancient deposits of volcanic ash and rocks give the Yermo Hills their colorful hues. Piles of black slag spread out across the desert at Valley Wells. A 50-ton smelter was constructed here in 1899 to process ore from the Copper World mine on Clark Mountain. The smelter workers carved out small dugouts under a layer of sedimentary rock for protection from the desert heat. Later, I arrived at the Venus mine in time to catch a magnificent sunset. I spent the night near the old highway mine, surrounded by mountains of limestone, quartzite, and granite. There are a few cacti and flowers in this area, as well as a type of small agave I hadn't seen before. Later, I came across an abandoned ranch house. Bees are living in one wall of the building. Next to the house, I found a huge gopher snake, at least 5 feet long. After watching me for several minutes, the gopher snake slowly turned around and crawled back into his hiding place under the house. The desert in the vicinity of Ivanpah, California, was a veritable garden of wildflowers. In 2023, a devastating fire tore through Sagamore Canyon, destroying several historic mine structures. Only the stone ruins from the mine's earliest era were left standing. A small creek trickles through the canyon, and eventually I came to an area that was spared from the fire. I left Sagamore Canyon and headed north away from the charred terrain. A wet winter has blessed the Halloran Hills with lush greenery. The terrain here consists of old volcanic hills and mesas. The setting sun casts a golden glow over the land, culminating in another spectacular sunset. I spent the night on the top of a narrow mesa with an incredible view in all directions. Some of the dark volcanic rocks display vivid, colorful lichens. Nearby, a large collared lizard basks in the morning sun. The top of the mesa is home to a variety of small cacti scattered among the rocks. Down in the valley, tiny yellow and purple flowers were sprouting everywhere. I encountered an interesting miner's camp in one of the canyons. Yellow-blossomed brittle bush add a splash of cheery color to the scene. Leafless green plants join the brittle bush and creosote bush in the Solarian Hills. I also found some interesting rocks in that area. There is a series of shafts and adits at an old talc mine. This mine is one of several talc mines spread out for miles along a long vein of ore. After watching another lovely sunset, I spent the night at a small unidentified mine. Brittle bush and creosote bush somehow managed to survive on these rocky slopes. The beautifully weathered limestone peaks have an intricate texture that I find very appealing. Large wooden ore bins still stand at several of the other talc mines. As I wandered around the talc mines, I was treated to more colorful floral displays. A hummingbird preens herself while keeping a close eye on me, a sure sign that she had a nest close by. The tiny nest contains 2 miniature eggs, not much larger than a pea. Bees have built a hive somewhere in this mine. The rusted hulk of an old car sprawls on the valley's sandy soil like a beached whale. North of the Dumont Dunes is the Amargosa River. The river is more like a small stream, but it's still a welcome sight in the desert. This was my first visit to this area. There is a lot to see and I was running short on time, so I decided to save it for a future visit. Late in the day, I saw majestic mountains of rock bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun. That evening, I spotted 2 deer as I was driving through the New York mountains. I only had time to get a quick photo before they ran off into the brush. While heading south that evening, I came across a Mojave rattlesnake warming itself on the road. I camped in a very drab and desolate area of the eastern Mojave. On my way back to the highway, I happened upon a very strange sight. Someone has dumped 5 old pianos, an electric organ, and several other musical instruments in a remote and isolated area of the desert. A fiberglass statue with a trombone stands watch on a small hill nearby. It's a beautiful morning with blue skies and scattered clouds at the site of Camp Iron Mountain. This was part of the U.S. Army's Desert Training Center that covered a vast area of the Mojave Desert during World War II. The only structure is this stone altar that was used as an open-air chapel. The soldiers lived in tents and trained under harsh conditions to prepare them for battle in the deserts of North Africa. The camp was laid out in a pattern of stone-lined roads and walkways that is still visible today. South of Interstate 10, the scenery transitions from Mojave to Colorado Desert, featuring ocotillos, teddy bear choyas, and barrel cactus. One small barrel cactus is growing horizontally out of a rocky outcrop. East of the Salton Sea, I saw many magnificent Palo Verde trees in full bloom, as well as red volcanic rocks. The Salt Creek Trestle is all that remains of the Eagle Mountain Railroad. The last time I was here, the tracks were still in place, but they were pulled up a few years ago. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video trip to the northeastern Mojave Desert. Be sure to check out some of my other videos featuring ghost towns, mines, and more.